Talk Radio 101.
The views and opinions expressed on this station do not necessarily reflect those of our advertisers, guests, employees, or management of Magic Broadcasting. Welcome to the Burnie Thompson Show. Radio Free Bay County. On Talk Radio 101, Northwest Florida's FM talk station.
It's showtime.
Bay County's marketplace of ideas.
I'm one of your lefty listeners, but I love my conservative talk radio guys.
Local issues and your opinion.
One is either a part of the problem or part of the solution, and you're being part of the problem.
Little constructive criticism never hurt anything.
And now, the Burnie Thompson Show.
Hold on to your handbag.
Hey, Bernie, your show's number one. Keep it up.
Good morning. Welcome back. I'm Burnie Thompson. 8 minutes past the hour. The phone number is 233-9988. I'm here with Stephanie Somerset and Catherine Zahner. We're talking about beach access and some environmental threats about beach access. And I'm pretty surprised to find out how serious environmentalists are about sometimes keeping people away from things like the plover. Have you heard of the plover? The snowy plover. You can find this bird at Shell Island, and it's to protect this bird that we had the fiasco at Shell Island last year with law enforcement writing citations for people bringing their dogs to Shell Island. But you know what's going on across the country? It's even worse than that. In Massachusetts, to protect the plover, the bird, and the bird's not all that. I mean, it's cute, all right, but it's not worth what they did in Massachusetts. They actually began shooting crows and poisoning seagulls. Poisoning seagulls to protect the plover, according to Stephanie and Catherine. Unbelievable. Well, we're talking about that a little bit today and trying to find a sensible alternative, because it seems to me that government's natural tendency is to encroach. And Stephanie, I know you believe that as well. So you're trying to find, I think, a solution that would keep Shell Island and beach access open to everybody, yet still offer some protection to this bird. Is that correct?
Well, that's right, and we want some sensible solutions. There've been a lot of innovative ways to help protect this bird, and we view that as very good, and we want to work with the authorities and do that. We don't want things to happen like they've happened up and down the East Coast, where fireworks have been canceled, people have been told they can't go camping anymore. In California, they banned kite flying. The Wall Street Journal reported in June that 49 beaches up and down the East Coast were either restricted or closed. And we don't need that kind of a thing, because there are ways to help protect this bird. By the way, if I didn't mention in the last segment, Bernie, there's a county in Oregon that has sued the U.S. government, claiming that because of beach closures, they've lost $19 million in economic impact and over 1,000 jobs. And on your show, this exact show, last year, there was a park official who got on and said about Shell Island, I could close the whole island if I wanted to. Now, see, that's what we're talking about. That's a bit drastic, don't you think?
Wow, that was said on this station last year.
On Talk 101.
Captain David King said that.
Yeah. Now, there are some things that you can do. For example, all these studies have been on this bird. They found out that when people leave trash, it attracts predators, and natural predators are the biggest threat to these birds. And we've already held 3 beach cleanups at Shell Island, and we also sent a letter to the Friends of the State Park saying that we're willing to help educate visitors to Shell Island not to leave their trash, and be out there helping people understand the impact it has on the wildlife. Those are some of the sensible things you can do.
Well, let's find out what questions people have about this. Jim, welcome to the show.
Yeah, good morning, guys. Hi, Stephanie.
Hey, good morning, Jim.
Good morning, Jim.
I'm not going to be able to check in a lot.
I'm sorry, I just recognized your voice. This is Jim Wilson.
Yeah.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Listen, what I want to tell you is that I can't really make a lot of comment about the snowy plover specifically, because I've never really encountered a lot of activity with that bird on Shell Island. But I can tell you this. Going back to the year 1990, when I was publishing my newspaper, the Florida Outdoor News, I did a considerable amount of research and discovered that the Shell Island was 50% of the becoming not an island but a peninsula by the closing of the old pass, and predicted that would happen by the year 2000, in other words, 10 years. And this was backed up by photographs from the Army Corps of Engineers and various other agencies. Well, it happened in 1999. I missed it by a year. But my other prediction was that when it did happen, all of the huge colonies of nesting black skimmers and least terns, which nested down on the east end of the island, would be gone because they would become the dinner for all the predators that would move in from Tyndall, which has a huge population of coyotes, foxes, raccoons, and all kinds of other critters. And that's, again, exactly what happened. We now have a huge population of black skimmers that nest on top of Sears Roebuck building in the mall. You can see them drinking water in the parking lots. And
in brown paper bags, right?
yeah. And the other thing is the park is under the control of the Florida Department of Environmental Pollution. And, excuse me, did I say environmental pollution? Maybe I meant protection, a Freudian slip. And first of all, according to all the research I've done, the only person that can close any park or any area immediately and directly is the governor. Unfortunately, the governor also decided to veto a bill that would have given more freedom of access. But going back to the Department of Environmental Pollution, this is all a bunch of dots that people don't connect in connection with these things. The fact is that I would say 999 9/10% of the, quote, dog prints that they see on Shell Island are those of coyotes and foxes, and I've challenged some of the folks over there that patrol it and showed them photographs and said, what are these? And they said, well, they're dog prints. I said, oh, really? Okay, take a look at the backside. This is a coyote. You can't tell the difference. The second thing, in the area of fecal pollution, and we'll call it scat, if you can imagine all of those coyotes and other things, where do they dump their scat? On the island. Mm-hmm. And but the thing, and you and I talked about this before, Bernie, when you had me on, about the Finn Holloway River down in Perry, mm-hmm. which is the most polluted river in the United States. And this DEP has never done a thing about cleaning up that pollution except to now ostensibly allow the building of a pipeline to take the pollutant from the paper mill directly into the Gulf instead of pumping it into the river. And that's with a DEP sanction. The whole thing is so totally skewed. And, you know, Stephanie is totally correct in what she says about the way people have been treated going to the island and other things. And my other biggest concern is that when you go to the park and you sign in to come in and be a visitor there, you bring your RV and your boat and other kind of things and your dog, they do not have any printed brochures detailing all of these very serious offenses that can occur if you break certain laws.
Jim, thanks so much for the call. That's so important, I think, when it comes to the rule of law. You got to know in advance what you can and can't do. And when I talked about this a while back, talked to a first sergeant who came down here a few states up and got a citation, a misdemeanor criminal citation. He did not know the rules in advance. Now, we can say ignorance is no excuse for the law, but at the same time, when there are so many laws that seem to be ridiculous, well, then, you know, we don't know the rules in advance, and you can't operate in a free society that way. When we get back after the next break, Stephanie, I'm going to ask you and Catherine what solutions you have. That'll be our last segment together before we have Dr. David Grazer, and I'm excited about that.